Hello everyone, today we have another quick watch review video. We have with us now the St. Martin Flieger Type B watch. You can get this from the AliExpress website for about 125 to 130 US dollars, at least at the time of this video. The reference number is SN030-G-V2, which I assume means it's the version 2. I'm not sure whether this is the latest version of the watch, but this is the version that we have with us today. The case size is 39mm, which is a nice case size for most wrist sizes, I think. Not too big, not too small. Quite a contemporary size. The lug-to-lug is 49mm, and it has a very standard lug width of 20mm, meaning you can switch out the straps quite easily. Or at least you can find a lot of strap options in that standard strap size. The thickness is 12mm, which isn't too thick, neither is it a very thin watch either. But for a casual everyday watch, I think 12mm is still in the acceptable range. The movement powering this watch is the automatic Japan Epson NH35A movement. At least this is what's stated on the AliExpress website. I have not opened up the Caseback to verify this movement, nor have I checked other listings to make sure that it is this movement. I personally don't really care too much about the movement of AliExpress watches because I'm not buying something that would last, or I'm not buying something that I'm hoping would last 10 years. They're just fun watches for me to play around with. That said, I think it will at least last you, even the Chinese movements would last you a few years, I would think. The caseback is a solid screwed down caseback, so there's no display glass there. You can't really see the movement inside anyway. It has a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. The water resistance of this watch is stated as 20 ATM, which is 200 meters, which is kinda, I'm not really sure whether that's true. I'm not gonna test it out. Again, it's a Flieger watch, it's a pilot's watch. It's not a diver, so it can state that it's 1,000 meters water resistance, and I'm not gonna try it out. I'm not gonna wear this swimming, I think. If you want to, you can go ahead and give it a try and perhaps leave a comment to let me know if it is truly water resistant up to 200 meters. I would not recommend it though. I would not recommend going diving with any of the AliExpress watches, even the dive watches, because they tend to be more homage watches made to look like some of the more high-end pieces, but I do not trust the quality control on AliExpress watches. Wear it day to day, it'll probably be good under the sink if you're washing dishes or in the rain, but I wouldn't swim with it. Personal opinion, again, you do what you want to do with your watch. Now it has no complications, so it's just a simple 3-hander watch. The case material is made from 316L stainless steel, and it has a screwed down sign crown. The bezel is flat, the dial itself is matte, and obviously the dial has the Type B Flieger style layout. It also has a really cool lume on this watch. The Lume Luminous paint is stated as the C3 Super Luminous paint, has been generously applied to the hands and indices, so it glows quite nicely in the dark. I am not sure how long the luminous paint lasts. I have not done tests on this, but at least in the first instance, it is quite nice to look at. The version I got is on the metal oyster style bracelet, but you can get this on the brown leather strap as well, which looks just as good. I just tend to like to buy watches on the bracelet if I can, and then I'll switch it out with the strap, with a strap that I own, especially if it's a 20mm strap like this, or lug width like this. I can easily switch out the strap to something I prefer, but it'll be more difficult for you to find a bracelet for a watch like this, or at least a bracelet that would fit a watch perfectly if it's not a bracelet from the same brand or the same model. The strap is a metal oyster style bracelet. and it has a Deployant buckle with safety pushes. Overall, it's a nice looking watch. It's a cool looking watch if you like Flieger watches, or if you're in the market for a Flieger watch. I was looking for a Flieger watch for a while, and there are a few options out there. If you want to have a more authentic Flieger watch from a brand with a history of making Flieger watches, then Laco is the brand for you, I guess. I'm sure there are a few other brands. I am not very well versed in Flieger style watches. All I know is that Laco is one of those brands that have been making Flieger watches, and that's the brand to go to. But obviously you'll be paying more for Laco. There are other brands that do make Flieger style watches without that history, Orient being one of them, and obviously Saint Martin being another. There are other Flieger watches on AliExpress itself with varying quality. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is a great quality, but with Saint Martin, they have been creating a few different watches by now, and their watches are relatively known in the watch community, I would think. There is a certain level of quality. I wouldn't say it's great, but you kind of know what you're expecting. That being said, now we'll go to the pros and cons of this watch. I've already stated one of the pros. It looks good. It's a Flieger type watch if that's something that you like. I like how clean it is. There's no logo. I mean, the dial, it's very clean. There's no logo on it, which is something I was looking for. I saw the Orient and it had one too many letters or text on it. It also has a date on it, which I'm not a fan of, especially for a watch like this. I wanted a very simple, no nonsense, three-hander watch, Flieger style watch. And again, the lume on this watch is absolutely beautiful. The cons though, with Saint Martin watches, with any watch on AliExpress, especially at this price range, you kinda have to deal with a lower quality of finishing. I'm not talking about the look of the watch, which looks fine. It's more of the feel of the watch, the feel of the bracelet, the feel of the sides of the case. They tend to be on the sharper side, which can be uncomfortable to wear. And once you've had better quality Swiss watches, or even non-Swiss watches like Seiko watches that are probably at the same price range, which, while Seiko bracelets are known to be rattly at this price range, they don't tend to be sharp at the edges. So here we have a bracelet that is not jangly, but it is quite sharp on some of the edges. Not as bad as some of the other AliExpress watches that I've gotten before, but not the most comfortable. And so I think I've gone past the stage where I would be happy with a bracelet like this. This is again a personal opinion. You might be okay with the bracelet. It is not the most uncomfortable bracelet out there, and it is serviceable. It's just that for me, I think I wouldn't like wearing this for too long each day. The other thing that I don't really care about on this watch is the fact that the lugs themselves do not curve down enough. It sticks out from the caseback. There is some curve to it. It's not like, say, a Baltic watch that seems to stick right out like a UFO. But if you notice the back of the caseback actually sits slightly lower than the lugs. And I find what happens when watches do this, at least when a watch is designed this way, with the lug holes being higher than the caseback, in order for the watch to sit flush on the wrist, you'll be pushing the watch into your wrist, and so the caseback would dig into your wrist itself, which I find very uncomfortable. Now, you can overcome this by not wearing your watch too tightly, which is fair. Or I guess if you do a proper NATO with the two straps, the overlapping straps, instead of a single pass NATO, that would alleviate the pressure somewhat, because the second strap there'll be two layers of straps, and there'll be two layers of straps between the watch and your wrist. And also, the way a NATO strap works, it would not sit flush on your wrist anyway, because of the way the second strap interacts with the first strap on a NATO. Those of you who've had NATOs before, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. Those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, you can just ignore this. Try to watch for yourself if you want to. It might not bug you as much as it does me. So all in all, I think really nice watch. At this price range, you're getting a good Flieger looking watch. I'm not really sure about the robustness of this watch. And yeah, let me know what you think about this watch based on the looks, or if you have the watch, let me know your experience with the watch. If you have watches that have lug with, or if you have watches that have lug holes that sit further up from the case back, let me know your thoughts on that, on whether you find them uncomfortable. It's actually funny because thinking about it, I do own other watches that sit that way, and they don't seem to bother me as much as this watch does. So I'm not sure whether it's just the fact that the lug holes sit above the case back, or it's just the design of this watch and the finishing of this watch that makes it uncomfortable for me to wear. Again, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please leave a like and do consider subscribing. I will try to make more watch videos in the future. And if you have any questions about the watches, please leave a comment and I will try my best to answer all the comments that comes in. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.